What is up, guys? It is Saturday morning, 5:57 a.m. and I have to get my miles in before everybody wakes up. And that's why it sounds like I'm doing ASMR on these Saturday morning videos. I'm not out there screaming about shenanigans and slugs on the steps. We're indoors because it's dark and I'm quiet because everybody's sleeping. You hear that? No, you don't. You don't hear anything because everyone's sleeping. All right, we got the Asics Superblast V1. And because it's Saturday morning and I need to get my miles in before everybody wakes up and I'm trying to recover before the long run, I'm only doing 4 miles this morning. And I've actually been having some trouble, guys, figuring out what video do I make on Saturday. I can't be out there doing shenanigans for 2 hours because it's Saturday. I need to spend time with my family. But I still run, and I still want to have a conversation about shoes and training. So I've landed on today we're going to do a revisit. We're going to revisit the Superblast 1. The Superblast 2 just dropped. I ordered it. It's going to be coming in whenever Running Warehouse ships out those shoes. So if you're going to order it, no matter what I say in my review, you might as well do it through my link. But I wanted to revisit this shoe, talk a little bit about where it fits in the market. And I discussed it a tiny bit yesterday during my Hyperion 2 review, thinking about why should we go for a shoe like the Superblast? When, where, why do we use this shoe to run versus a lower stack speed-oriented shoe? So that's what we're going to do today. A little revisit on the Superblast 2. I'll do a quick overview. We'll get some miles in, and then I'll get my thoughts. Let's get into it. Talk about Kobe. Bang. Alright, so Superblast. Most of you guys know this shoe. It is, I think it's not, no jokes here. No jokes here. I think this is seriously the most beloved shoe of the past 2 years. And if you're on the forums, if you watch YouTube, if you ask people who are into running shoes for recommendations, over the past year, this is the shoe that kept coming up and kept coming up and kept coming up. And there's one shoe before that, and let me go grab it. All right, so before the Superblast came out, this was really the shoe. Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. Or, look at this. Saucony Endorphin Speed 2. Either of these shoes right here, they're fast, they have the race foam, but they're still soft and forgiving. And a lot of people would recommend these shoes as, hey, I need a do-it-all shoe. I want a fun daily trainer. I want a shoe that I can run in and race in. Get the Endorphin Speed. Get the 2, get the 3. And then bang, when the Superblast dropped, this became the #1 choice for a lot of people. Why is that? Well, and speaking from the market's perspective and from people who like this shoe's perspective, not from my own perspective for a second, people love this shoe because it is versatile and you get a really tall stack of foam, above 40 millimeters of stack, while having a super lightweight. It is a very light shoe, and because this pink foam here, the salmon, is a race foam, you can stuff a lot of it in there without the weight getting too high. So it's lightweight, it still has some good balance from the race foam, and it has some decent stability out in the back, or good stability, better than you might expect for a race foam. And if you look at these two shoes here, right, if we compare the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 and the Superblast is wider, but it's also taller, and it also is non-plated. So something like the Saucony Endorphin Speed, a little bit more flexible, the softer Pivo foam in here, and you also get the plastic plate to stabilize the foam. So that's the other draw. A lot of people like the Superblast purely because it does not have a plate. But for me, that's not the main draw of the shoe. The main draw of the shoe is the foam to weight ratio, the protection to weight ratio. You still feel very protected when running, and that is one of the things I said in the shoe in the 100-mile review, even though I was making fun of the shoe and all of its fanboys. You feel very protected. This is one of the most protective shoes out there. There was no run where I felt like my feet were going to hurt, or it was bottoming out, or I didn't have enough between my foot and the ground. This is a really protective shoe, and being able to have this much protection at in my size, about 250, 260 grams, is rare. Other shoes with this much protection are typically 80 grams more. They're coming in at 330. So back there's the Hoka Skyward X. It's not on the camera. That is 330 grams with a similar stack height to this. New Balance More V5, not as fast as this, but 330 grams. The new Saucony Hurricane, 330 grams. So this keeps the weight really light while giving you a lot of foam. The other thing is the upper. The upper is really good, but that's not the reason people are obsessed with it. It's all about the midsole foam here and just how much race foam you get and the implications of it. But the downside of the shoe for me was the only reason that they're able to put this much race foam in here, they're calling it FF Turbo, is because how this foam feels. So you could not put this much ZoomX in a shoe like this. If this shoe were ZoomX, it would be a complete mess. And by the way, this white piece, if you're not familiar with the shoe, this white piece is a training foam. But you could not put this much ZoomX in the midsole of the shoe and have it work well. It would be super soft. The ride would be all over the place. So because of that, my experience with this shoe is that the foam was just a little bit too firm. That's why I'm actually excited about the 2, because that one, I've been told, soften things up a little bit. So with the non-plated race foam, you have to have any of these shoes that are non-plated, where have 40 and above, you have to have a little bit of a firmer foam. Even the Skyward X, that's a tiny bit firmer. There's a plate, but it's a tiny bit firmer. Even a shoe like the Prime X Strung, I haven't run that shoe, but it's Light Strike Pro. Light Strike Pro is not the softest compound out there. So you get a little bit of more firmness to it. I just felt like I couldn't compress this foam at slower paces, and that defeated the purpose of buying a $200 shoe for me. Because if I wanted a shoe to run fast in only, I would just get the Boston 12, or I'm trying to look at my collection of shoes here. Any of those plated, they're all in the back. The Hyperion Max at 180. There's a lot of shoes, the DV8 Nitro 3. There's a lot of shoes for 160, 170, 180 that are just as good for running faster, maybe even a little bit better for running slow. So that was my issue, $200, and it wasn't that versatile for me. And maybe I got it half a size big. This is an 11, so I went down half a size to 10.5, which is my typical size. Sometimes I can get away with an 11, but in here it was a little too big. So I'm sure that influenced my experience with the shoe. But I have had a lot of others tell me that they felt similarly about the FF Turbo foam and that you just can't compress it. And it's interesting because the new race shoes, the Metaspeed Edge in Paris, they have the Sky in Paris, they have the same or a similar foam. It's FF Turbo Plus, but it is tuned very similarly to this previous generation, and it only really feels good for me when I run fast. And I know that's a race shoe, but even compared to Saucony's shoes, Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 or the Adidas Adios Pro 3 or even the Alpha Fly, it feels like some of those shoes just work better at slower paces with less force. And these Asics racing foams just do not for me. I have to be running fast. So that's my question with this shoe. Why would I buy a $200 shoe where I could only run fast in if it's a training shoe? So let's lace this thing up, do a little bit of a fit recollection, remember, reacquaint ourselves with the shoe, then we can get our miles in. Alright, lacing up the Superblast 1 here. Now, I gave this shoe kind of a hard time just because everyone is obsessed with it, and it just didn't quite hit for me. But upper is great. This is one of the best parts of the shoe for me. Very lightweight. It felt like a race shoe upper, but still comfortable. And I do have a little bit more room than I need in here because I went up to an 11 because that was the only thing they had. But step in is comfortable. And I actually I think I did a 20-mile double day in this shoe. And I took it to this aquarium thing in Florida. I forget exactly what it was called, with the kids and everything, and they had stingrays and sharks. It was super cool. All these rescued animals, sea creatures that they'd helped out. And we were walking around for a few hours in this, and then I did my afternoon run in it as well. So it feels good to have on foot for a long time. That's why people like it as well. It's a great long run shoe that's not going to be as harsh as a race shoe. for some people. For me, I was just kind of fighting against it the whole time. But yeah, on foot here, man, it's comfortable. It feels like a regular shoe. Now, it's not going to be as soft and squishy as something like the Nimbus Mirai. And by the way, I've just had this shoe sitting here. Should I get more miles in the shoe? I've actually been considering buying the gel Nimbus to give it a try, the 26, since I've only tried the 25. But I'm remembering I have this guy, so then should I just get more miles in this? But I don't know. This is the Mirai version. It's not the same as the Nimbus. But either way, this is not going to be as soft and squishy as something like the Nimbus Mirai. But the reason why I actually think I like the Superblast more for casual use over the Novablast is the Novablast can have this disconnected feeling, and just for walking around, I didn't love this shoe. I actually preferred the Superblast. It has a little bit more of a rocker. It has a smoother geometry on the bottom, and yeah, it's kind of weird to pull up in a $200 shoe, but it feels good for occasional walking when you need to. But, and again, it doesn't have the most aggressive geometry, and that's the other thing about the shoe. Nothing is super aggressive about it, so it does feel a little bit more like a normal shoe to have on foot than a lot of the other speed training shoes out there. If you put even the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 on, which is not the most aggressive, but it does have a really big curve down here, this feels a little bit weirder to have on foot because of that curve than the Superblast. So do-it-all shoe here that feels relatively normal but still has the race foam. That's why this thing was so loved. That's why this thing is so loved, because it feels normal, but then boom, you got that 40 plus stack here. But all right, it is 6:21. The house is still quiet, so let's go out, bang our miles, do a little breakdown, and then we can call it a morning. I'll give you my thoughts on Superblast. This is kind of fun. What do you guys think? Is this fun? Revisiting? If you think this is fun, let me know what other shoes I should revisit. Oh, we have flies in here now. I don't want to wake anybody up by trying to kill it. All right, let's go outside. Man, I might need to get that citronella going again. All right, plan for this morning are miles, and man, it is a beautiful morning out here. Yes, sir. We are going to do 4 miles with the cicadas, nice and relaxed. My favorite run of the week. We don't need to be burning down a double dozen 25 piece on a Wednesday. This is the Saturday morning ASMR session. We're just going to be relaxing. I love it. All right, 4 miles. Let's go. Need to do a retie already. I didn't tie this puppy down enough. Yeah, crank it. We're not in Carbon County today. We're in non-plated territory. This is some unplated territory, boys. Some unplated territory. So one of the things that's always happened, one of the things with this shoe for me is it feels really good for the first few minutes. It feels bouncy, it feels peppy. And then somewhere through the run, that shifts into feeling a little, I don't know if it's mushy, but just like the foam is not doing what I want it to do. But right now, man, it feels smooth, it feels bouncy. It feels softer than I remember. And now I'm also remembering that it was a really dual character shoe. I had some great runs in it, or good runs in it,
and I had some challenging run. Oh, there's spot. There's spot. One spot. Yeah, and I had some runs in it that I just felt like, why? But right now, it feels nice. Nice and smooth. Like it's gonna let me hit this 30-minute 4-mile run with ease. Make it feel even easier than it is. So we're on the straightaway here on our little warm-up loop. And the other thing with the shoe is it makes me want to run faster because it has that race foam. It never was a shoe that I could just bop along in. And I'm hoping that the 2 is maybe, with it being a little softer, maybe a little bit better for hanging back. With this thing, I can hang back. It just doesn't feel like I'm activating the foam. So then I'm encouraged to get down to that 7 flat pace. We're in unplated territory this morning, boys. Alright, so that was mile 1. I think we're around a 7:45 pace or something. I didn't check my watch. And so far, the shoe is a little bit better than I remember. But the big difference is that I've been running in Hurricane, Balos, Ghost Max 2 for my relaxed miles, and especially for these last few Saturday miles, it's been Hurricane, more V5, and Balos. Those are way more relaxed. This is not a chill shoe. For me, at least. This is a shoe that, like, I'm running a lot faster than I need to right now. I would typically run these Saturday morning runs, maybe even 8:30 pace, because I roll right out of bed into them. No coffee, no nothing, straight into unplated territory. And this is making me put a little bit more pep in my step. And I think that's the downside of using this shoe as a daily. It's gonna maybe make you run faster. And that depends on how many miles you're doing, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because if you're not doing that many miles, running faster on your everyday runs is okay. But if you're doing a lot of miles with a lot of workouts, I'm realizing I need all my easy or recovery days to feel light, to feel relaxed. I haven't done a workout since Wednesday, and my legs are still feeling pretty smacked because of the intensity of these workouts right now. And I have the long run tomorrow. So a shoe like the Ghost Max 2, that's not gonna be as peppy as this. Or the Hurricane. But maybe it lets me recover better because it's not forcing me to, or not forcing, but encouraging. Not encouraging me to run faster. Yeah, here's the thing with this shoe. At this pace right now, I feel like I'm getting 70% of the bounce. And it's noticeable that there's 30% more. Okay, I unlocked it here. That's characterized my whole experience with this shoe. Unless I'm running fast, marathon pace or below, I'm at that 70%. And the shoe is letting me know, hey buddy, you got 30% more. It's almost like in the car, when the mirrors start lighting up and dinging because there's a car next to you in your blind spot. That's what's happening with this shoe. It's sending off warning lights and bells that I'm not doing what I should be doing in it. Hey buddy, you gotta run fast. You got 30% more. So because of that, I can never really just enjoy mileage, because it feels like I'm not unlocking the shoe's capability, which is then just confusing, because if it's a $200 shoe that I can't run relaxed in, why would I buy it? But now when I do pick up the pace a little bit, this is fun. It is a fun shoe. The bounce is there. The race foam is there. The protection is there. But it doesn't escape the trade-offs. The trade-offs are still here. Yes, it's lightweight, but it still has the trade-off of race foam translating to not good for slower running. All right, that was mile 3, 7:30 pace, clipping along here. Yeah, it just feels like there's another gear that this shoe wants me to get down to. But good things, man. Last few good things before we get home, do the breakdown. Support in here is great. Protection is great. It is a leg saver, as they say. Big leg saver. Meaning, anecdotally, through my own experience, these taller stack shoes just make it feel a little bit easier to run. And that, I am getting that here. It's just also reminding me that, hey bro, you're being soft. You need to put down some 630 in these guys, huh? That's what it's telling me. But we are not Mr. Blast putting down any 630s today, sir. Nice and smooth, nice and relaxed. I'll see you guys at home. Bro. Oh my goodness, bro. Yo, I just got absolute, whoo. Yo, I got smoked by a spider web. I was minding my business out here thinking to myself how it's a lovely morning. How, man, I'm so grateful I was able to set up my week so that I could only run 4 miles today and be relaxed. And then bang, right in the face, spider web. I don't even know where my glasses are. Are those them? Oh man. This is not what you want, let me tell you that. The hobby jogger hat got some of the damage. I got it right in the mouth. I had to take my glasses off and rip them, throw them to the ground because I was getting attacked by a spider web. And now I'm blind. I can't see anything. I seriously can't see anything. No, my eyesight isn't that bad, but I don't know where my glasses are. Yeah, right here, man. These spiders, I don't know what it is in this neighborhood, but because it's a more established neighborhood, it was built in the 70s, and there's woods, forest, I think the spiders just, they repopulate. They reproduce. Alright, well, I guess my glasses are gone for now. We gotta get this breakdown in before the kids wake up.
Shout out to all my citronella fellas. You're doing good. Yee-hee! Alright, 4 miles, average 7:43 pace, 32 minutes. Nice recovery miles. in the Superblast V1. And you know what I love about this shoe? Oh man, look at this. Can you see that? I literally, oh, you see that on my pointer finger? Ugh, blech. I'm literally covered in cobwebs, and that's not a metaphor. That sounds like a Future bar right there. Covered in cobwebs. No, I'm covered in cobwebs. It's disgusting. But you know what I love about the Superblast right now? I love that it's the last gen. It's now a retro. And I love first generations of shoes. There's something special. The Jordan 1, the Air Force 1, the Chuck Taylor 1. I don't even know that that's the one, but just the first generation of the shoe, there is something special. There's something cool about it. So it's cool that we have the Superblast V1 right here. Yes, sir. Good job, Asics. You're doing good. And the thing is, with this shoe, Asics did pioneer a new category of shoes. It was unplated territory. And they said, hey, enough of this carbon counter talk. There's no sheriffs here. There's no sheriffs in the unplated territory. And that's what they did. Bang. So it's really cool that they did this. I know the Invincible 3 existed, and that's kind of similar, but that is more of a daily vibe. It is a special shoe, and I've been hard on it. But it is a special shoe for what it is, for introducing something new to the market. I love that. I love when we can have some innovation. And every brand is still trying to find its Superblast. Every single brand. Saucony's coming with a Convara, or no, they're calling it Endorphin. Not Endorphin Elite. What is it? Endorphin Trainer is coming 2025. We got Nike coming out with the, have you seen, I posted it on the Supwell Running, by the way, go follow Supwell Running. I posted on Supwell Running story the Nike competitor to this. It's Zoom X with 2 airbags. Brooks coming with the Glycerin Max. And I'm really hoping they do, man, the Hyperion Max, if you soften that foam up a little bit, went non-plated, and made the geometry less aggressive, that would be a good competitor to this. Or just did dual foam, DNA Flash, DNA Law, found a way to lighten it up. That would be great. Adidas has the Primex Strong, and that's plated, but yeah, they don't really have a competitor to this yet. Let's see, what other brands are there? There's one more brand I was thinking of that's coming out with one or has one. Oh, the Puma. The Mag Max. Mag Max. All right. Universal should sue them. Sounds oddly similar to Mag Max. To Mad Max. All right, let's go. This is just shenanigans. Hold on. Do you see any glasses here? Maybe we can use our camera to do a little search. Do we see any glasses? I don't know how far they could have gone. Did I? Oh! Good thing I didn't step on them. Oh my goodness. Oh, see, look at, okay, this is what I'm saying. I know there's some people out there who think I'm just acting. Look at that. Bug and cobwebs. Bug and cobwebs all over this thing. That is disgusting. I need to wash these off with some isopropyl alcohol, man. Alright, I think I'm going to try to clean these off with my little 5-inchers. We can get into this breakdown, but a little tip, a little trick, tips and tricks this morning. If you have a shoe that's just a little bit bigger and it just fits just a little bit too much volume, try getting a thick sock, a thicker running sock. I am in the Features merino wool socks. You guys know I love Features. The best summer running socks are actually the OS First, the active, what are they called? I'll put them below. And I'll also put the Features merino below because they help fill out the shoes a little bit more. And any of the socks, not with this shoe in particular, but I know there's a few other shoes out there. Like, can we center this? There we go. Like the Rebel. Oh, now that's the Now we're just gonna keep rolling. Like the Rebel V4, the SC Pacer V2. Some people have complained about the rubbing back here. Get you any running sock that has the padding. I will put my link below if you want to use mine. You can also find a cheaper alternative, but I suggest OS First or Features. Those are my top 2 brands, and it will prevent a lot of the rubbing back here. It has to be the these kind, right? If you go for the kind that stop right up here on this part of your leg, that's not going to be enough protection because they don't have the little padded tab back here. But Asics Superblast 2, revisiting this guy, we got 4 nice relaxed miles, and man, holding it in my hands right now, it just feels so much lighter than it should. And it's not the lightest shoe. It's heavier than the Hyperion by a good margin that we were running in yesterday. It's heavier than all the race shoes, but because it's so big, and it does have a little bit more room than you need probably, and you're true to size, I would not go up a size, but because it has so much foam and it's a little bit longer, you got the caboose out in the back, and it's just a tall, chunky shoe, it feels like it shouldn't be this light, man. It feels like it should be 20% heavier than it is. So that's one of the benefits of the shoe, the weight to foam ratio. But this has always been a confusing shoe to me, and that's why I wanted to do this revisit before the 2 is coming. So my main issues with the shoe are that what we unlocked this morning, that 30% feeling, that there's always 30% more that the shoe wanted me to get to. It wanted me to get down to another gear. And with this shoe, a reason a lot of people liked it is because it's great for time on feet, it's comfortable, and it's protective. So for me, it was confusing to have a time on feet comfort protection shoe also be encouraging me to run fast, and it never quite clicked for me. It never quite clicked for me, maybe because I like having a bigger rotation. Even before I was testing all these shoes, I always like to have, ever since I ran 60, 70, 80 miles per week, I always like to have at least 3 or 4 shoes. So something like the Superblast it never really had a place in my rotation where if I'm gonna do a long run with race pace, I'm just gonna use my race shoe. That's the Honda Ridgeline. That's the Honda Ridgeline. That's another pioneer. That's the Asics Superblast of trucks, right? It's not body on frame. It's not body on frame, it's unibody. And now you got the Hyundai Santa Cruz, right? Hyundai Santa Cruz. You got the Subaru Baja. That's a banger of a car right there. But Subaru, out here talking about Subaru, but guess what? Man, I had a pitch at work. There's a common misconception. I had a pitch at work. Common misconception, I don't work. We were going head to head on a naming project. It was a brand strategy. We were going head to head on a naming project with this agency who named the Subaru Outback. And we won. We beat the Outback people. Man, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of me. Comfort, protection, time on feet. Why is it making me run faster? That's been my question. And I like having 2 to 3 to 4 shoes in a rotation. If I weren't testing all these shoes, I would probably have, with 100 miles per week, I would probably have 5 shoes, maybe 2 workhorse shoes, a race shoe, and 2 speed shoe, and a max cushion shoe. Something like that, right? I'd probably have 5 shoes. So I'm not sure if the Superblast would be one of those 5 because it is a do-it-all shoe that isn't great at everything. And this is my rule. It's not a rule, but this is generally how I makes it a little bit easier. There's bugs out here. I should have brought the citronella fellas out to the street to give your boy some protection. My general guidance and one of the little heuristics I use to evaluate these shoes to make it a lot easier for me to do these analyses is thinking about if we're paying above 160, that's kind of the middle of the market, right? Nimbus, Supernova Prima. By the way, the Supernova Prima, people were saying that was overpriced or asking if I think it's overpriced. I don't think that's overpriced because you're getting similar tech stack as the Nimbus, as the Triumph, as those types of shoes, which are at 160. But 160, that's the middle. The Vomero's there as well as MSRP. Anything below that, you're getting less stack or just not as great technology once you get even below 140. And then above 160, those are the race shoes. Those are the amped up technology training shoes. And that's where it comes into Puma Deviate Nitro 3 is 160, but then you have Brooks Hyperion Max at 180. Asics Metaspeed, or Asics Metaspeed 4 at 170. Does that make sense? Are those overpriced? And you have this guy sitting at 200. So for $200, if I'm going above 160, I want
more capability than I could get out of a $160 shoe. And for me, $40 more than something like the Boston 12, because this shoe, to me personally, always made me want to run a little bit faster. I could never fully grasp the value of it. However, this morning, I have to say, and I had some times throughout my first 100 miles in the shoe, before we got to the 100-mile review, where for those relaxed miles, even though it wants me to run a little bit faster, I could still feel the benefit. So it's just almost a minor discomfort, or this minor little nagging thing where it's, you should run a little bit faster, but it's still okay. So if you are gonna get only 1 or 2 shoes, then this could be okay, but still $200 is a lot of money for that. And I wanna love every mile in a shoe. And also, with my style of training, this shoe doesn't quite fit in. Someone left a great comment on the first run review, or one of the first videos I did on the shoe. They said, it's a great zone 3 shoe being wasted on a zone 2 doer, or something like that. And I don't train by heart rate zones, but the spirit of what he's saying is right. I run a lot of relaxed miles. If you watch the training Q&A I did the other day, I was going on and on about relaxed miles. That is the foundation of my philosophy. That is how I have been able to run 100 miles a week and progress over time. And the reason I'm doing that is because I didn't run growing up. I wasn't a runner in college. I was an athlete in high school. I did basketball, lacrosse. I did all types of sports throughout growing up, but I didn't have the time to develop my aerobic base. So for me, with a little bit of, I don't want to say behind the curve, but I'm coming to it in my 20s versus Connor Mintz. Again, he was, I think, 13 or 14 and ran a 1:11 half marathon. That's a 5:30 pace half marathon. If I ever get to that, I'll be 30 or older. I'll be in my 30s when I get to that, right? So later in life, coming to this as an adult, running the higher mileage allows me to pull some of those gains forward. So if I were only running 40 miles per week, maybe it would take me 10 years to do something at 100 miles per week I could do to 2 to 3 years, because I'm giving my aerobic base a little bit of an accelerated period to catch up to where it would have been if I did build my aerobic base in college and wasn't doing the opposite of building my aerobic base in college. Great zone 3 shoe wasted on a zone 2 doer. What that means is it's great for a little bit of faster, steady miles, longer miles. If you are going out and running 3 to 4 times a week and are just gonna crush some pace, this could be good, right? Going out for 90 minutes and just running as fast as you can could be good. We'll leave you protected. But for me, running 100 miles a week and either doing, and it's this polarized style too, right? Where we're either doing, oh, look at that, look at that. We beat the Subaru Outback, people, baby. Feels so good. Polarized training. I'm either running fast or I'm running slow. Or not necessarily slow, but relaxed, or I'm amping it up. I'm getting those legs turned over. And this isn't the shoe I would necessarily pick for getting the legs turned over. I'm gonna pick something maybe a little bit more connected or more specialized. This is that long run do-it-all shoe. It's the same issue I had with the SC Trainer V3. These types of shoes for my system of training don't quite hit for me. They're great for a lot of other people, and this is where, as a reviewer, I'm trying to do a little better job separating my personal preferences and biases with my unique training style, because not everyone is doing, not even just the mileage level, but the way that I approach running daily miles. Not everyone does it this way. So I understand why people like this shoe. It's great if you are running a little bit faster or want to run a little bit faster for those everyday miles. But for me, I would rather take the Nimbus or the Superblast over this for a run like today, which is 90% of the runs I'm doing, not really caring about pace, just recovering, just getting some time on feet. I don't necessarily need the pep and the lightweight and all the tech that's in here. And then for the long run, if I'm crushing some race pace, I'm headed to Carbon County. I'm headed to Carbon County, right? That's where I'm landing right now. So I'm excited for the Superblast 2. I'm hoping that it changes or fixes some of the little issues I had with this shoe that I think might be fixable. Like, if it softens this up, as some people are saying, that would improve it for daily miles. I went down half a size. I went back to a 10.5. Hopefully that fixes it
makes just the fit a little bit more dialed in. Maybe that will make it a little bit better for me. I could put more force down through that little bit less area of foam that we're getting, right? Maybe those things, those minor changes will make it hit more for me for daily miles, because that's always been my issue with the shoe. Why would I pull for it for daily miles when there's options much cheaper that can do the same thing that aren't going to force me or encourage me to run faster? So I understand why everyone loves this shoe. I'm excited to test the 2. If you are going to buy the 2, you know what to do. My link is below. Also, I would love if you waited and did not buy the 2 until I were able to give my opinion and perspective on it. But I know a lot of you guys out there aren't going to do. That's why I posted the link. That's why I posted. The thing is, if you're going to buy the thing anyway, you might as well support me. If not, just wait. You can also buy your electrolytes, your gels, and your socks or whatever. Anything through my Running Warehouse links. I just signed the contract for Europe and Australia, guys. This is fun. Europe and Australia Running Warehouse, so I'm now gonna have those links as well. I just gotta confirm when I can put them live, so probably starting next week, I'll just start dropping all those links below. And the way that this works is anything you buy when you click off to Running Warehouse, even if you click for the Superblast 4, if you decide to just buy a pair of socks, but you went to the website through my link, it still works. So as long as you click the link, it works. So that is a Superblast 1. Good job, Asics. It's just not the shoe for my training style. It's not my preference for daily miles. Good for time on feet, nice and protective, nice and lightweight. I'm excited for the 2. It's not gonna be here for a while, but let me know also what you thought of this revisit video and what other shoes I should revisit. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Quiet house still. We're winning this morning. Quiet house, look at that. Full video, filmed. Quiet house, I can hear Reevesy talking to them. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, one more thing. Homemade bread, look at this. I was gonna save it for the long run video tomorrow to have for my breakfast, but I'm not sure there's gonna be any left. So this is the best homemade bread Charli has ever made. A little whole wheat with the oat. No, white. It's white oat. What is it? You tell them. I don't even know what it is.
It's not whole wheat.
What is it?
You said no whole wheat in
Oh
my
yeah,
house.
yeah. What is it? What is it?
It's honey oat.
Honey oat?
Yeah.
It's fire. Good job, Charli.